Hello, everyone. I recently sat down with Miss Judy, and we did a deep dive into vitamin E, including the best whole food sources, things to avoid in supplements, the benefits of vitamin E, and there are many, and the signs of deficiency. So let's get into it.
Vitamin E was highly ignored during the, I'd say 60s and 70s. They said that it was only needed for rats and babies. And they didn't even say, they said fertility in rats, but they didn't even define why it was needed for babies. Now you've got a little baby and she's getting a lot of vitamin E from mama.
Yes, she is. And, vitamin E is something you've always taught me about and you've always stressed. One thing I remember you saying clearly is it's needed by every single cell in the body. And as we were researching this topic, I did not know that babies can be born with a vitamin E deficiency.
They can't be. So that's why it's really important that mama gets all the nourishment that she possibly can during pregnancy. And we don't use synthetic anything.
Yes, let's get that out of the way right now, because 90% of the vitamin E supplements on the market, you're going to see a really problematic ingredient, and that is soy.
That's right.
And what's the problem with soy?
Well, number one, 99% is GMO in today's world. There is a bit of organic, but then how do you keep that from having a cross-contamination?
And let's just keep it very simple too for those who may not know what GMO is. What is GMO and what is the issue with this?
Well, genetically modified organisms. And this is something that I am very much opposed to because it actually causes gastrointestinal damage. And this is something that I am not going to ever use in any of my products. And also there's a pesticide concern.
Yes.
And also with our sunflower oil that we use, it's all unrefined and rich in natural vitamin E.
Yes, one of the benefits of vitamin E, and we're going to get into the multiple benefits that vitamin E offers, is it actually supports healthy hormone balance and expression, but the pesticides can actually counteract that, which is why we're pesticide-free with everything we do.
And we also use Austrian Styrian pumpkin seed that is grown and hand picked. The seeds are without a shell, and they are pressed. And the Styrian pumpkin seed is so rich in all of the nutrients and everything that is needed for absorption into the cells, and it is a staple in Austria. It's amazing because everyone uses it, but there's even a difference in that because ours is cold pressed and it's never cooked. And, for example, I know of some Bulgarian pumpkin seed where they cook it for hours and hours and hours so they can get more of the media from the pumpkin seeds, but then it's not the raw, cold pressed with all of the wonderful ingredients present. And, with a vitamin E, with the cold pressing, then you have the real vitamin E that our bodies need so desperately.
Yes, vitamin E is one of the antioxidant vitamins, and it's important to keep the food sources raw so that the enzymes and the oxidation factors don't happen. Because when you heat something, you lose the antioxidant value, and that you're losing the vitamin essentially. The soy situation is very problematic, and just to recap, and this is the majority of the vitamin E in 2025, that's when we're filming this, is still on the market. Vitamin E has pesticides, GMOs, and it also is a lot of times cooked and refined. You end up with actually 1/8 of the total complex of vitamin E.
That's correct.
And that will explain why you use the pumpkin seed oil and the sunflower, and there's one other that we use, the red palm.
Yes. all of these because that way it gives you an assortment of sources.
That's right. So we're crossing over from talking about the source because it always starts with your source. If you don't have that right, the benefits don't come. So the source, again, is from Austrian Styrian pumpkin seed oil that's cold pressed. It's also coming from the red palm, which is sustainable that we do, and the raw, unrefined sunflower seed oil. So now you have the whole complex. Now you can receive these benefits. And what, besides the rat studies and the fertility and the babies, what else can people get out of vitamin E? And there you have it. That was part 1 of our conversation. Be on the lookout for part 2, where we discuss key benefits of vitamin E and issues you may be experiencing if you are deficient in vitamin E. As always, if you find this kind of content valuable, please subscribe, like, and hit that bell. Thanks for watching.